Hello, my lovely crows, and welcome to another just impromptu message from Spirit, Universe, whomever is jumping in and popping in with these messages. I just keep being directed to these. I was trying to record one, and the camera just kind of tapped out. So here we are again, trying to see if we get a similar message from what they were telling me last time. I like doing these short little readings. These are fun. Spirit, what message do you have to give the collective? What are we giving the collective a reading on today? Okay, goodness. Right, one more card, please. Bottom deck is Balance, Spirituality, and Practicality with Full Moon in Pisces. Interesting. Collect the cards that have thrown themselves on the floor. Besides those, you've got Take Time to Breathe Out in Reverse, Disseminating Moon. Excuse me. Alright. Conclusions are within reach, Full Moon Eclipse reversed. And bring love into the situation, New Moon in Aquarius. I do not know. I think the new moon we just had was Cancer. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, the new moon's been following the seasons, so it would have been Cancer. Aquarius, that means it wouldn't be until around Aquarius season again. So this, just by that, I'm feeling that this is going to be an energy that's been long spanning and reaching. Either something that you've been taking initiative towards, or something that is requiring your attention and will be addressed within this next 6-month period, is what I'm hearing. Excuse me. That being said, you guys, we need rest. I'm so tired suddenly. I've been very tired, especially since they were like, you got to do this reading. Just the energy has been sapped. There's a lack of rest, a lack of self-care, and a lack of attention to your needs is really what I'm hearing. Like, you're very much a bleeding heart, a caring person, someone who is willing to, do the most and maybe not get that much in return. You don't really care about getting all the recognition, getting your name plastered across places, being the one people always know to turn to, Kim Possible style. But if people know what you're good for, if people know your value, then they know that you are not like a worthy, I wanted to say worthy opponent, but I mean, yeah, you are a formidable foe. If you're on your bad side, you are someone to be definitely not trifled with. That being said, you are also someone who would much sooner burn themselves out and light themselves on fire than let someone else go cold or struggle or have to deal with it. And this is something that you're still powering through, something that you are learning to balance, because it's not a bad thing to be caring and loving, but if it comes at the expense of yourself, your health, your well-being, then that is something to be concerned about. And this is a time to really focus on self-love, on self-care, on being in tune with your emotions, in tune with what you need, listening to yourself. If you need to take time out and meditate, that's definitely recommended, to just tune into your mind, your mental state, your emotional state, check in with all of the in all of the places, all your mind's faculties, to make sure everyone's happy, everything's taken care of. If something's nagging you, if something's bothering you, if something is weighing on you, then you hone in on it. You get to the source, you figure it out. You don't just leave it to the side and hope that it gets figured, or you hope that someone else maybe will notice and address it, and then you can get it fixed by them. Because that's always going to lead to either constant waiting that just never ends, or it's going to only be band-aids on bullet wounds, wherein it's not actually solved and addressed, and you will continue to struggle with it, because, like I said, band-aids on bullet wounds. It's not gonna heal if you just walk it off, champ. You gotta actually focus on what's wrong. You actually have to address it. You actually have to speak it, truth to it. You know, speaking its name is not giving its power. Acknowledging that it exists is part of the battle. But also, only acknowledging that it exists and then doing nothing about that helps no one. Because you're going to be like, yes, this is on fire. This building is burning all day long. But unless you actually call someone to help put it out, or you start putting it out yourself with some water, picking up a bucket, that building is going to keep burning. It's going to just burn straight to the ground. Yeah, you acknowledged it was burning. That's great. Now what? I said, interesting, because I pulled back the bottom deck card because it was at an angle, which usually that means like there's a card underneath that wants to be seen. And we have Surrender to the Divine, Full Moon in reverse. Very interesting that all your cards have come out reversed except for the bottom deck. Some of you may have been struggling to really feel in touch with your spiritual side lately. You might be feeling like you fell off your routine, or you might just feel out of touch. You might feel like you aren't doing enough for maybe like your spirit team, maybe not giving enough offerings, not been enough veneration, and you're worried that like they're gonna get mad at you, or things aren't gonna work out, or some of you are really hearing like manifestations are gonna turn around and not work out for you. Which, no. That's not how the spirits work. They aren't going to just suddenly turn their back on you because you didn't give them a nice thing a couple times. Especially if they see that you are currently on, like, in the mortal world, struggling in 3D. They understand that they can take a back seat. They don't have to have all the treats and stuff right immediately. They know how to wait. They need you to make sure that your self-care game is together first. Make sure that you are taking care of number one first, and truly like addressing any issues that might be holding you back from what it is that you're trying to fulfill, trying to reach. Because if it's something that you're manifesting, but you're also blocking yourself from moving forward with that manifestation, like if you're trying to, kind of like if you're trying to drive automatic, but you are not putting on the clutch properly. It's like, yeah, you want to drive, but no, you're not doing it correctly. So therefore, yes, you're going to keep stuttering and struggling and stopping and stalling because you're going about it the wrong way. Unfortunately, you're not doing it properly. You should. And if that's the case, then your spirit team definitely is asking you to focus more instead of on. I'm not saying don't venerate them at all, but like instead of worrying about like getting them all the offerings and stuff, just focus on talking to them, connecting with them. Just baseline, go to an altar, or like I said, meditate, go into nature, be on your own in a peaceful, quiet place, and just talk to them, vent to them, let them know what's on your mind, what's bothering you, what you'd like to happen. Cry if you need to, complain, swear, do whatever. Just get it out. Let them know. Let them know what's happening. Because things can't get fixed if they don't get addressed. And then things can't continue to get fixed unless you actually put in the motion to fix them. Because you can want them to fix, like I said, all day long. Unless you are A, acknowledging there's a problem, and B, putting in the work to try and fix that problem, it's just going to continue festering. Okay, interesting. These are similar but definitely different messages. I see why they cut me off. They were like, no. Close, but no. More messages for us. Oh, excuse me, Spirit. What message do you have for the collective today? What message do you have for the collective today? is the Devil in reverse? So what do we have here? Let me put you up here. We've got the Hermit in reverse, King of Wands in reverse, Judgment in reverse, and Page of Pentacles. And to clarifying, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse, Five of Pentacles in reverse. What is on you? I just want to know what is all over my card. Smuts. Just smuts. Lo siento. I have no idea what's wrong with them. My poor baby. Alright. We've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And the Four of Pentacles. Alright. Very interesting. There's no swords at all. Not a single sword. And the only mental energy is really the Hermit. And that's reversed. It's just very much playing into the message I was saying before, where it's like you might be stopping yourself, honestly, right now. Or you might be in situations that you know aren't for your best good, that you may either have gone into because they were comfortable or familiar, or you were hoping that things would evolve or get better. But as they stand now, it's mostly just wearing you down, making you tired, making you less aware of your potential, your self, and what it is that you could be doing with yourself. Like, I really feel, especially with the Hermit and the the King of Cups and the Knight of English. The Hermit, the King of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. Yeah, there we go. All three of them in combination with each other. It kind of feels very much like listless. Like you're just going directionless, wandering down a path, trying to pretty much find anything that sparks your interest, hits with dopamine, amuses you, keeps your attention for more than like 10 seconds. Some of you might even struggle with ADHD, because, especially with the King of Wands in reverse, it's very unfocused energy. He's not really dedicated to much. Or he's dedicated to too much, and it's wearing him thin. And I get that you're very curious. You want to know more. You want to see more. You want to grow more. But the problem is you also don't really have a baseline, I feel like. Like, you are... It's not that you're not intelligent. It's just that you're... being like jack of all trades, master of none. Which I definitely relate to that. But then there's also this part of you that whenever like you are afraid to try things, because what if you mess up? What if it's not the best? What if I suck? It's like, okay, Anne, sucking is kind of part of the process. Most people suck before they're decent. Most people don't just jump into something and are perfect at it. But more than that, I feel like it's just like you might be doubting yourself, like doubting what it is that you want to do, what it is that you're interested in, what it is that you want to pursue. Whether it's just because it's a little out there, it's niche, it's different, maybe it's not the most profitable thing out there. Like maybe you're not trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. Maybe you're trying to follow a passion project, trying to travel, trying to just go out there and meet people or change lives and live your best life. Like, I really feel with that King of Wands and the Five of Pentacles, like you are a giving, caring person, and even if you don't have the biggest empire, the most funds, you like to, at the very least, help other people and put yourself and your skills, your abilities out there to help and benefit the collective, to help, like forward progress, really. Like, I'm really getting a activist type energy from you guys. But a doubt of your abilities, a doubt of your skill, your knowledge, which is part of that lacking in the self-love, self-care, and self-assurance, which also comes when you know, both with the doubting yourself and struggling with it in the past from having to deal with it, having to deal with people who were denying you that you were having good ideas or choices, people who had different opinions and put you down for it, people who questioned your every thought and action and wouldn't let you just breathe, exist. And now you are second guessing yourself in everything you do, and it's holding you back from progressing the way you'd like to. But it's mostly a fear of yourself. Like, it's not, I'm really getting that, there's mostly at this point, there's not obstacles from the world around you. Like, most of these pentacle cards are reversed. Like the Five of Pentacles in reverse, it's giving good energy. It's really, like the tides are turning. They're turning in a good way. You are stabilizing. You are figuring things out. Like, even if you don't have your exact direction planned with what you're doing, you are in a place that's stable enough that you can, you know, figure that out without being completely lost in up shit's creek without a paddle. Also noticing that you've got 9, 5, and 4. 4 and 5 make 9. And that's very interesting that you are currently, like, this Four of Pentacles, like, you are taking what works. You are looking at what you have and what you've built, the habits you've made, the skills you've acquired, and what it is that you have now. And you're trying to actually put it to work for you. You're trying to make I mean, your country boy make it do, but yeah, you're trying to make it work for you instead of having, you know, everyone else influence you, or just going with whatever other people tell you with that Nine of Pentacles in reverse, going with whatever seems right, going with whatever will win approval, going with, you know, you seem like you'd be really good for this position, or, well, I think you should do this instead. Instead of listening to that, you may take those opinions with a grain of salt. But now you're turning more to this, that angel in the sky, that whether that's actual angels or your spirits or just your higher self, you are tuning into your personal intuition, your independence, your strength, and you are really channeling the fact that you got you as far as you are. You are capable of thriving and succeeding fine on your own. You might not be the most professional, polished, perfect image, most marketable one, most Disney Channel approved. I don't know, but most people don't, like I said, come out like that. It takes lots of practice, skill, effort, and if you are willing to put in the work on not only yourself, but in the projects that you are dedicating your time to, the things that you all believe in, that you care about, that you want to see flourish and grow in the world. Like I said, that might be activist things, like you might really want to help your community grow, strengthen, take care of people, make sure that people are sheltered, housed, voices are heard, and that needs are met, really. Like, the Five and the Nine of Pentacles keep drawing me back, like, as a community leader, not someone who's, like, picked dry and exhausted, but, like, someone who really is outspoken for, like, activists, outspoken for a good cause, who is loudly using their voice, their platform to affect change and bring about tides of change that are necessary to see progress, really. Like, I'm getting John Oliver. If you don't watch Last Week Tonight, that's essentially what he does. Is he'll take an issue in the world, because there's a lot, and then he will spend like 25 minutes talking about it, explaining some of the nuance and details of it, making you laugh about it because it's kind of exhausting, and then kind of giving you ideas of how we can help as a collective. And it's like, he knows, like, yeah, most of us are just average Joe Schmoes, but, you know, These are little ways that you can help, little adjustments, little things that your little empire, how you can affect your little stage, your sector of the world, instead of having to, again, it's not your job to fix everything in the world, but if you can make one thing a little bit better, a little bit brighter, a little bit more stable, I feel like that's really what you guys are looking for, is at least one improvement, even if it's on a small scale. You just want to know that you left a good mark. So very good. I love this for us. Alright, let's get some oracle cards. There's advice. And camera has not cut off at 11 minutes this time, so it's at 21:21 when I looked up, I believe. So, Spirit, what advice do you have for the collective? Okay. Yep. Alright. Bottom deck is abundance in reverse. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. I feel like that is true, but like I mentioned, like you might not have the deepest pockets, you might not have the biggest range, you might not have the best skills, but like just because you're not the very best, like no one ever was, doesn't mean you can't make change, doesn't mean you can't break habits, doesn't mean you can't break the wheel. And I believe, yeah, I'm about to say, I think change was one of the cards, yeah. So we got change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. There you go, same energy, we go. We got fear. I've not even seen that one yet. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. And self-esteem in reverse. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit in me and others. Reading upside down is fun. Okay. Definitely. Also, the fact that there are two yellow cards with that confident solar plexus energy. It's more like you don't need to really have the best skills, the best everything, the biggest cars, the biggest bank account, to create meaningful change, to make waves, to... I'm thinking of Tank Man, if you've never seen the picture of Tank Man, which is from the Tiananmen Square massacre in China in 1980, I couldn't tell you the exact year, but 1980s China. TLDR, they punished protesters by firing on them, and the famous image I'm referring to is, if you haven't seen it, is Tank Man. It's one guy, he's got a bunch of grocery bags in his hands, and he's just standing down a line of tanks. Just like a line of military tanks. Just one little dude versus a whole arsenal. And, I mean, on one hand, they could have definitely rolled over him and just flattened him. On the other hand, that is a just timeless image of resistance. Any and everyone who sees that just feels the power and understands the absolute might of having to be in that position of just swallowing it all down and being that person standing there. It's not fun. It's terrifying. It's not easy. But I'm sure he didn't wake up that morning thinking that he was going to stare down a line of tanks either. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and you gotta stand up with your whole chest for something you believe in, for something that matters, for something that will be a good cause. And I really feel like you are finding your place there, whatever it is, wherever it is. And even if you're worried about performing, about doing enough, that's not the biggest concern about being the most. The biggest concern is doing, is trying, is putting forth the effort and showing up, being committed, being dedicated, and being willing to stand your ground. Understanding that it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, that it's not going to... There's going to be backlash, there's going to be pushback. There might be constructive criticism and there might be some not so constructive criticism, you know. But pretty much name me a movement, a change, resistance, any sort of protest that has come along without dissenters, without critics, without any sort of backlash or pushback. Because, spoiler, you can't. Not a single one. They wouldn't be called cultures and protests and revolutions if everyone just was like, oh yeah, cool, that's fun, that's fine, let's just do that. But really, it's just focus on what it is you can do. Don't focus on what it is you can't do, on what is outside of your control, what is that they might think or say. Focus on how dedicated you are to this, how much you believe in this, how much this feels right. Like if this is a cause you believe in, if this is something that you know is bringing the change, the progress, the growth that you want to see, then you know the fuck. Interesting. The deck split in chronological. I mean, numerical order. But if it's something that you believe in, then nothing should be able to hold you back. Even if it's scary, even if it's worrisome, even if it's different, it should be just. And I definitely know like the struggle of having anxiety and dealing with it and having to fight through it. But even anxiety is something that you have to accept as like it's going to be there. Like even if you start to manage it, even if you deal with it, learn that it's only in your head. Yeah, duh, it's mental illness, but etc. etc. It might not go away. You might always get anxious when you do things like I know for a fact whenever I talk in front of people like big groups of people, I still get anxious. I've been performing in orchestra arrangements for years, and I'm just like, oh god, this is horrible. I hate that. Hearing my voice back is still something that's like disgust, weird. But like it's something you just gotta get used to. It's something you're like, okay, this is a fact. This is something that I'm gonna have to grin and bear. This is something we're just gonna have to deal with. It might be able to get addressed later. It might not. It might be something that's just permanent. It might just be how the ball bounces. But you work with what you have, and you either work your way to a better hand later, or you accept the hand you've got, and you make that hand work for you. I shuffle this. Alright, we're just going upwards. I had split the deck and saw 42 and 43, which was Banyan and Isis, and then I split the deck again, and I saw Isis and Ishtar, which is 43 and 44. Like, alright, I see. Alright, one more. Final advice for Spirit. Bottom deck is Kali. And now we got 41. Goddess of Rebirth and Transformation. So we had 41, 42, 43, and 44. Just going up the ranks. We got self-care. I'm so shocked that that came out. Take care of your wonderful self first. Just remove these. Scoot. Excuse you, sir. Clear quartz, reverse, clarity, healing, endless possibilities. Okay, universal love in reverse, choose love. Ooh, nice. Waning gibbous in reverse, turn inwards. Pyrite, confidence, luck, and prosperity. And priorities. Focus on what truly matters to you. First of all, with all the goddesses that flash by, definitely, if you are not already, like, regularly just talking to, communicating with your spirit team, definitely try to get into a habit of that, even if it's just like a 5-minute meditation, sitting outside, sitting next to some plants, petting your animal. Especially, I mentioned petting your animal because the Ishtar card had a lion on it, and she's like petting the lion, much like the strength card in tarot. But I definitely feel like if you have an animal, little critters, and you can't like get out in nature real fast, or you don't have a lot of plants or something, just take a few minutes to chill with them, sit with them, and let your mind wander, meditate, talk to your spirits there. That is also very effective. change is wanting to happen. Change is coming. It's coming. It definitely. But the question is, are you like prepared for it? You personally. The answer is technically yes, because you've got all the mental skills, you got all the abilities. Like your bag checks out, you are ready for Freddy. But like mentally, you need to prepare yourself. You need to be in the right headspace, which includes taking care of yourself, which includes addressing anything that is bothering you in your personal life right now, because you can't give to the community. You can't come out and present as your very best, the strongest, as a formidable opponent if you are also struggling to take care of yourself, to handle business with your own self. Like if you can barely go a day without having panic attacks, you're not going to be able to help other people take care of themselves because you're barely able to take care of yourself. So first, take a step back and make sure that you are addressing anything that is urgent, anything that is affecting you, that is harming you, honestly. Like, I feel like there's, with that waning gibbous and the clear quartz, I really feel like there's something that's like, might be just right there in front of you that you might just be ignoring. And it might be like something in the personal life, like a friendship, family member, relationship, roommate, neighbor. I don't know when neighbor came, but yeah, someone like in a very close vicinity, someone who you will interact with a lot, or something that you interact with a lot that is affecting you, that is keeping you from moving forward, healing, and being the best version of yourself, putting out the best version of yourself, because you're so wound up tight around this. But once you address this, once you see that, once you start making the necessary changes and taking care of yourself, importantly, I'm noticing how all of them, almost all of these images, these two are cupping the heart very similarly, which is very pretty. But I'm noticing that all of them have their hands clasped pretty much, like all four of these. And then this one in self-care is clasping themselves. I'm also noticing that all of them have a third eye, except for the pyrite one, but she might, I just can't see her fucking face. So definitely, yeah, tuning into yourself, your needs, your emotions, your mental state, making sure that everything is accounted for, that all is calm on the Western Front. If something is wrong, something is setting off, if you are not having the best days ever, or trying to make the best of your days ever, or if you are making the best of your days and then something is coming in and making a hard left on your mood, definitely make note of that. Like, that should not be a regular occurrence, to be having a great time and then suddenly be thrown for a loop because of one thing or one event. You should be able to take, you know, L's through the day. Things suck, things mess up, things go wrong. You take it, you get back up, dust off your pants, and you keep going with the day. And I feel like that's the energy you're trying to get through, especially since the self-care and the pyrite in the middle column, like you're working on it. You were trying to put your best foot forward, bring your A game, and really present yourself as someone who's like a man with a plan and handling business. But until you prioritize with the priorities card, until you prioritize yourself, your needs, and anything that is bothering you, anything that is not serving you, anything that is affecting you, and the way that you live, the way that you view yourself, and the way that you view your talents and your abilities, anything that is truly bringing this negative effect upon you, needs to be addressed, brought to the forefront, and if not solved, then gotten rid of. Because the thing that needs to be taken care of the most is you, not anyone else's situation, not saving the world, because you can't save the world, take care of everyone else, and do for everyone if you haven't taken care of yourself, if you aren't clear, if you aren't okay. Because I know you have big dreams, and I know you want to see everyone succeed and be happy, and know that a lot of you have come a far place from where you started and are happy to see yourselves thriving, and would love to go tell your like younger selves that look how far we've come. And that's definitely something you could do, like meditate on your inner child and just give them that reassurance, that praise, that support that they need. But You are not the same person that you were before. You are not this. You have grown. You have changed, and you are continuing to grow and change. And that includes shedding layers that don't serve you. That includes shedding mindsets that don't serve you anymore. That includes letting go of things that may have been fun before or might have been helpful before, but now that you have healed and grown some, then it no longer helps you like it. Let's say that you used to have like a, I don't know, you might have like a charm or something that you would carry around. Like maybe you had a ring, like a fidget ring. I had a fidget ring, but like maybe you had a fidget ring that you used to wear, and anytime you got anxious, you just flick it and fidget with it, and that worked for you, and it was fine. But now that you have maybe handled some of your, or now that you are or have handled or handling some of your things on your mind that are making you so anxious, that are making you so fidgety, that are making it so that it was so hard for you to focus that you needed that ring, you might take it off. And you might find that ring years later and be like, oh, dang, remember that? And you might not want to get rid of it, but also it's like, well, if you don't use it anymore, if it's not serving any purpose, I mean, unless it's a nice fashion piece, in that case, go ahead. But if it's not helping you anymore, if it's done served its purpose, then maybe offer it to someone else. Maybe sell it online, or maybe repurpose it. Because even though it may have been helpful then, you might have sentimental value, you might care. At the end of the day, just holding on to things just because, well, it was nice then or I enjoyed it is not worth it. Because that's how you keep those stuck mindsets. That's how you keep yourself stuck in the past and unable to grow and heal. Because you hang on to those threads of, well, we had fun then, and what if things improve again, or what if I need this again? And I'm not telling you like take out your medications and dump them down the drain. God, no. You talk to your psychiatrist, please. But like phasing things out of your life because they're no longer serving you, kind of like puberty and stuff, when you are getting rid of your childhood stuff, or you're putting your childhood stuff in storage and you're moving on to more adolescent and adult things because you're growing up, you're maturing, you're changing in interest in personhood, essentially. You're changing. That's part of growing in life and advancing yourself and finding yourself, really. I feel like that's definitely something you're focusing on right now, guys, is finding yourself, really aligning with your goals, with your values and the things that you believe in, and manifesting it in yourself first before you try and manifest it in the world around you. Because if the home base is covered, all the bases are covered, and everyone's happy and understood, then it'll be much easier to convey those messages to others around you, to people who might not know you on the same level or have seen you since those times. You might be able to you'll be able to explain your views much better, articulate yourself better, and share your ideas, worldview easier, which will in turn lead to better connections, better advancements, and just further progress that you may have otherwise not been able to get to if you weren't shedding the parts of you that no longer serve. If you were only moving and acting based on emotion and reactionary emotion rather than mindful, well thought out, and well vetted emotion. Yeah. All right. I think that's all the messages. I think that's all I've got. It really was informative. I really enjoyed this reading for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning into this pop-up little reading out of the blue. Hope that my ramblings made sense. And I hope that you enjoyed the message. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you to your guides especially, as well as mine, for helping me get these messages out to the collective. I really do enjoy it. Thank you for watching this far. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more in the future, subscribe to the channel. If you got suggestions for pick a cards, you can leave them in the comments below. Check the description for all the cards used, and if you'd like a private reading. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.